Michael, EA is all in on Battlefield as we got big news on Battlefield Labs. Tell you all about it. The story Battlefield franchise, known for its uncompromising all-out warfare and world-class gameplay for over 2 decades, announced the most ambitious community testing program in franchise history, Battlefield Labs. The work on the next Battlefield experience is entertaining a critical phase in development that will benefit from collaboration with the community like never before. The first phase of Battlefield Labs testing will go live in the coming weeks, and signups are available at battlefield.com/labs. Initial tests will include an invited group of players and servers located in Europe and North America ahead of plans to expand invitees and server locations in the future. Quote, "I've been playing Battlefield long before I joined the team," end quote, says Vince Zampella, head of Respawn and Group GM for EA Studios organization. Quote, "This game has so much potential. To find that potential, with us being pre-alpha, now is the time to test experiences our teams have been building for upcoming launch. Battlefield Labs empowers our teams to do that," end quote. Players can stay up to date on the test and the latest public testing information, but keep an eye on the same website. Our community will receive published updates from the team throughout testing, so that even those who are not selected for Battlefield Labs can still come along for the ride. All the feedback provided during the Battlefield lab tests will influence the development of the next Battlefield title and beyond. Here's the big kicker there, Michael. 4 teams now over there, right? If you're a Need for Speed fan, I mean, back off. You ain't getting one for a while because they're pretty well put that on hold because Criterion is now moved over and gone over to help DICE and everybody else over there build the next Battlefield experience. They're actually, if you watch the trailer, dude, they're actually working on a single player campaign. We'll see how that goes. Right now, they have a campaign. Obviously, when it came to Need for Speed, especially with Unbound, they had the whole little spin-off stuff. Dude, it was a cool game. I actually enjoyed that. Corey reviewed it for us back in the day. That was in 2022. So we're now 3 years in. They've shifted, right? But they're still getting updates. I don't remember the last update was only, I want to say like a couple months ago, a month ago, something like that, for Need for Speed Unbound. But they're pretty well wrapped up, I think. And now we're all in on the next Battlefield. Where's Labs sit for you?
I think it's an interesting idea. Obviously, the more testing you get, the better, right? I mean, you and I talk about it, unfortunately, all the time. Feels like not a day goes by where AAA game comes out and it is just buggy as all heck. Day one patch, crashing for some people. I mean, especially when it comes to games from EA, you know, not always the best. So I like this. I'm curious how this will help the hype level, right? Because we see it a lot now. Game comes out, early access. People rush in. Game for me that my buddies and I were talking about the other day, right? Deadlocked, right? Early access. People came in. People were hyped. I haven't heard anybody talk about that game in months, right? And that's going to be my concern. We all rush in. We get Battlefield Lab. They're playing. This game is awesome. This game is awesome. And then you kind of, you know, you put your feedback in. You forget about it, right? Like, oh, it's in the alpha. 6 months go by. You're like, oh, I wonder what happened to that game, right? And you play it again, next Battlefield Labs. Then it comes out and you're like, I've already put in 100 hours in the early access. Do I want to go back and play it now that I have to pay for it? That's my one thing with some of these alpha games recently is like everybody rushes in. They want to play it day one, but now there isn't that day one release. It's, well, I played day one of the pre-alpha. I played day one of the early access. I've already played a bunch. So that's where I'm curious where this is going to go, but Battlefield needs a win. The last few Battlefields have been absolute disappointments. Drew is someone who absolutely loved the Battlefield. I was one of those guys. I bought COD and Battlefield. I know growing up it was either you're a COD guy or a Battlefield guy. I played both, and now I slowly went up to COD because the last few Battlefields, I think starting with 1 for me, just didn't hit the mark. So I like what they're doing, but I'm curious if we're going to see big spikes and then people are going to forget about the game.
Yeah, remember when Delta Force came out? Dude, you and I were all over it. And then we went in for testing, and we went in for another round of testing. And like, now I'm out. Like, dude, I'm just done, right? When it comes to console, then I'll be back in. Like, I'm looking for that leap over. I'm kind of in the same situation right now with No Rest for the Wicked because I keep playing this early access, and I keep grinding out on PC. Dude, I absolutely adore that game, and they keep expanding, and I love it. I just wish they bring it to console because that's where I prefer to play it. Sitting on my couch, big screen, all that kind of stuff, right? It could kind of the same thing here. How far do we get into this? Go, man, I'm just tired of playing this now. Like, where is that? Here's what we're dropping. Boom. Go get it. Like, dude, GTA 6, granted, different scale. But at the same time, when that drops, Nobody else has played it, right? They've had testers over at Rockstar, but they come in and they go, wham, here you go. So the hype is there. When you play and you're in there and you're testing and you're in there and you're testing again, day one launch just isn't the same, right? It doesn't hit so hard. But at the same time, it will hit for others who have never played it. But EA needs to figure this out. This Battlefield has suffered. 2042 was an absolute flop of a game. Horrible, right? Everyone's like, yo, where's the destruction in this? Where did this go? Where did that go? Where's the scoreboard? I remember Scott telling me, like, Scott went off. He was just like, yo, he's one of the biggest Battlefield guys I know. He's like, yo, do you have that information? Can you send it to me? I want to sign up. I'm like, yeah, sure. Here you go. I don't know if he actually got in or not. I know a buddy I follow over on Twitter. He's like, yo, I'm sitting here and I'm in the queue to get into the test labs. It was just horrendous. He's like, I'm out of here. I don't have time for this. I'm very curious to see how well this goes. They have 4 studios. This is the most they've said, the most they've had at one time working on a Battlefield game. They need something that can compete with Call of Duty, because Call of Duty has been taking the world by storm for so long that every time a Battlefield game comes out, I don't feel like there's competition there. There is no competition, right? Kind of like when you get into MLB The Show. Dude, it's just MLB The Show.
Yeah.
NHL 25. NHL is the only one there, right? Like EA owns that. Like it's just 2K is another prime example for the NBA side. Nobody has competition to kind of shake it up a bit. Where Battlefield's supposed to be that competition for Call of Duty, but Call of Duty just eats their games for breakfast. And then just keeps putting in another game, dude, and it does $1 billion in a couple days. Where Battlefield's like, yo, we can't even put a scoreboard on ours, and we can't do this, and we don't match that, right? And it's just, everybody comes in with high expectations, and is just so underwhelmed at launch that they have to do this. I think that's the biggest thing. They need to make sure that the fun factor is there. I don't doubt the talent of these teams. It's the time and execution that needs to be paid attention to, so that they're able to come in there and hit it where it needs to be and make sure everything's spot on. I saw, if you watch the trailer, like the parts will crumble now, so they are having that destruction come back in, which was what the franchise was so well known for.
That's Battlefield, right? That is Battlefield. Drew, 2 questions for you.
Yeah.
1, is there a Battle Royale mode? Because that's where COD has really kind of made their bread and butter. And 2, day 1 on Game Pass when this finally releases. Yes or no?
I'm going for no for both. I don't think we're going to get a Battle Royale. I think they should. I just don't think they have. Right now, they're focused on the multiplayer and they're focused on the campaign. And that's where they're at, right? Like, that's what they need to focus on and make sure that they hit that for the community. And that's what they're building towards. Battle Royale, no. Game Pass, I don't think so. I don't think they're there either. They want those sales to come in and buy that. And this is, hey, they need to come out and go, hey, boom, this is why you need Battlefield. If they get it, everybody's back in. My question to you then, Michael, can they do it?
I don't think if they're not on Game Pass. I really don't think so.
It's fair. I guess time will tell. We're supposed to find out a whole lot more very soon.